Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the May 11th, 2026 Special Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial Board meeting. Are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes, we are.
May we do a roll call at this time?
Certainly. Chair Berkeley,
Here?
Commissioner Bryan, Commissioner Arnold, Commissioner Stodel,
Present.
Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Brown, are you on the phone? I show her on the phone because I show her
Maybe she
name.
stepped away for a moment.
Maybe. Commissioner Coffin? Here. Commissioner Hilton? Commissioner Sinup? Here. Commissioner Mowbray? Present. Commissioner Truesdale?
Here. Hannah Brown.
Okay.
Commissioner Brandenburg? Commissioner Creer?
Here.
Commissioner Mills? Present. Commissioner Prado? Commissioner Diaz?
Here.
Thank you. And Commissioner Brown is on the phone.
Yes, thank you so much. So we have a quorum.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much. Agenda item number 3, public comment. Comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record, or please come forward, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed will be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anybody wishing to speak to the commission? Seeing none, we will go to agenda item number 4. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference of the regular meeting of the March 23rd, 2026 meeting.
Motion to approve as written.
Ryan, second.
Please, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Commissioner Brown, is that an aye?
Yes, I did say aye, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion passes. Agenda item number 5. Report by the City of Las Vegas Finance Department staff regarding the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial budget for fiscal year 2026.
Good morning, Mayor. Paul Bresnahan, Senior Financial Analyst for the Finance Department. So I'm going to try to make this quick today. Here are the financial statements as of April 30th, 2026. So this is 10 months into the year. If you look at the middle column, these are the actuals through 10 months. Contribution revenue from the DMV, we received our third payment from the DMV. It was for $434,000. The first payment was $421,000. The second payment was $404,000. So the third payment was about $30,000 higher than the prior 2 payments. Interest income of $165,000. Total revenues, $1.4 million. Total program expenditures, which we have a breakdown of that on the next slide, $1.26 million. G&A expenditures, $185,000 for a change in net assets of $18,000. So we started the year with $6.2 million in cash and currently at a little below $6.2 million in cash. If you go to this slide, this is the breakdown of all the amounts that have been awarded. You can see we spent $1,260,000 so far through the year, and we have about $2.5 million remaining on projects that we have approved. $2 million of that is expected to be spent after June 30th. So most of these projects are going to go into the next fiscal year. If you look at this list, anything that has funding remaining is pretty much going to go into next year except for the $13,000 for the movie premiere. This is the 5-year projection. So we started the year off with $6.2 million. We're probably going to end the year with about $6,123,000. We are projecting revenues from the DMV to continue to decline by 2%. Now we're projecting interest income at 4%. The contribution to the city remains flat. And then program expenditures, these are all the amounts that have been awarded, not including anything else that might be awarded today or in the future. And then here you have your total revenues since the beginning of the commission. It's $43 million. This year will probably come in just below 2 million, so a little less than what we've had in the prior 2 years. Then here's that information in a bar chart. And then here are the license plate numbers. You can see that the Vegas Golden Knights are continuing to grow. They're above 80,000 at this point, but still not at the number of the Centennial Commission. So, any questions?
Please, any of our commission members have any questions or comments? Mr. Stodal?
According to the report, we need to receive at least $464,000 for the last quarter in order to meet the commission's budget for this fiscal year, which is a projected number.
Yes, sir.
Is that last quarter, do you have anything off the top of your head? Is the last quarter more than of the fiscal year we received than the other 3 quarters? Or do
I
you
think
it's
the third quarter usually comes in higher. If you look at this slide, we really have revenues projected at $1,690,000 based on the 2% decline. So we don't think that we're going to get $1,725,000. We think we're going to be about $35,000 short.
So where I'm going with that is do we want to stick with the 2% decline? What we're looking for, obviously these are projected numbers, but a more realistic, because we're looking at projects that are coming before us that are being requested for 3 and 5 year periods out, and our projected number is dropping, and I'm wondering if the 2% is optimistic and whether there may be a bigger a drop in 3 and 5% in the sale of these plates.
Yeah, so this $1,725,000 that was set before the year began, I would have to look at what our budgeted number is for next year. I believe it's below 1.7. I'm not quite sure what the number is, but I know it's less.
But it's based, did you say, on 2% drop?
I believe so.
And it's not a challenge, but how did they come up with 2% as opposed to 3% or 5%? Is that based on history?
Yeah, so if you look at the slide, you see 21 through 25, it's been dropping. Like 2022 was 1.17, 2023 was 1.43. And so we said 2% would be a conservative estimate because every other year it's been less than 2%. So that's kind of how we got the 2%.
And you think that's still a good tool?
It might need to be adjusted up a little bit.
Okay, all right. And when do we normally get the last payment of the fiscal year?
So the last payment will usually come in July, and we will accrue it back. So we will credit revenue, debit, accounts receivable.
So our July meeting will have the total fiscal year. Mm-hmm. Great, okay. On page 5 of the financial update report, I'm trying to figure out, and it's probably right there in front of me, but what is the total amount the commission has paid out so far in this fiscal year, and how much more are we obligated to pay out?
This fiscal year, we have paid out in just grant expenditures. We have paid out $1,260,950, leaving a balance of $2,494,949. And you can see this breakdown right here on the remaining balance, 43026 column.
Okay, so where I'm going with it is we are going to have to dip into the reserves to meet our budgeted figure this year?
It really depends on the timing of the expenditures because you're going to keep
Well,
receiving quarterly
I'm not
payments from
being
the
real
DMV.
clear to Paul, is we issue grants that are due to be spent during a particular period of time.
Yes, sir.
And I'm wondering whether or not we are going to, in order to meet those grant obligations, whether or not we're going to have to dip into our reserves.
Yeah, it looks like next year our cash balance will drop to about 5.8 million. So that would be about a 300K drop.
Yeah.
But when you say reserves, what are you referring to? Because it's just your cash balance.
Well, reserve, I'm defining it as money that we haven't allocated yet, and that we have, for example, a couple of days ago, the owner of the Huntridge Theater says he wants out, and he wants the city to come in and pay for that. It's the potential that that person may come to the Centennial Commission to ask for some money, and we would be able to, if it's proper, dip into the reserve. So it's money that hasn't, that's how I define it, money
Okay.
that has
Well,
been allocated.
Yeah, probably then, yes. We would have to dip into it because,
I'm just worried that we're going down with revenue coming in and we're dipping into the revenue. I'm just trying to get my hands about how much we're dipping into it each year before we wind up with no revenue, no reserve. So that's all I was trying to get at, Paul. Thank you very much.
okay.
Does anybody, yes, Mr. Mowbray?
Last meeting, I was volunteered to be on a committee to take a look and see what we could do to stem the decline. And I guess our committee didn't meet, but I had some ideas, thinking that maybe we should go to the DMV offices in Southern Nevada with a cutout of a Frank Sinatra or a Wayne Newton and say, please remember, and have our plates there, and then have a list of our documentaries, and perhaps have little teasers on their boards while people wait for their number to be called.
We'd have a picture of you.
Yeah, right.
Lovely.
It'd be great.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Mowbray. Are you planning to meet anytime soon so you could report back to us?
I don't think I was appointed the chair of that committee, so.
Oh,
That would, Madam Chair?
is
Madam
I
Mayor?
just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, we,
there a chairman here?
yes, I was, you designated me, thank you.
You're
And so
welcome.
I,
You're
I have, Diane and I have met before we convened the committee. This is a special meeting, obviously, and we sort of felt that we had a little bit more time before the full meeting came back together. But the idea, in a nutshell, is to find ways initially to, that don't have any costs associated with it. To tap into some of the things that we already do, maybe CLV, maybe with the council person's newsletters that go out, et cetera, and figure that out. And then we'll find out what that looks like, and then we're planning to convene the committee and brainstorm a little further, and then bring it back to
Then you
this.
bring it back with
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Well, I, for one, am very excited for that report.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coffin?
Thank you, Mayor. I just don't see it in the report. Maybe I missed it somewhere, but frequently you point out all of the other license plates. And so I can't tell from this data how we stand in terms of other plates. And globally, how does the specialized plate, basically impact everybody? Is it gaining, expanding, or contracting? What's going on?
Well, I think it's growing every year because there's more people every year.
Do we know that?
Do I know it for sure?
Yeah.
No.
So we can't really tell from this stuff here. When we do get the graph that you send us that tells us about all the others, or at least the big sales ones, I'm really curious if people are starting to skip it. Just curious
It
how
could
we
be
stand.
with the economy the
When
way
you
it
say
is.
we're trending 2% down, maybe the whole crowd is 2% down.
I mean, just from this graph, it looks like the Golden Knights are continuing to grow. The Lake Tahoe one's growing. The Raiders are growing, which is surprising. The Knights or the Centennial Commission it's not really losing ground, but it's not really growing either. So it's
Okay,
kind of
well-
remaining flat.
All right, well, it's really
Maybe
hard to
those
read.
cutouts are not a bad idea after all.
Invest in your legacy.
Yeah, I've asked my question, so I know you'll get it through to me later or to us later.
Okay.
Yes, of course, Senator.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're not trying to give you a hard time at all. And basically, I'm not an accountant, never a numbers guy. The bottom line for me is, do we need to be careful that we don't dip into the reserves? In other words, is there a warning light that says, wait a minute, you all on the commission need to be thinking next year and the year thereafter that these revenues that are coming in are declining, and therefore you ought to adjust what you're prepared to pay out each year in terms of grants. That's the bottom line, and again, I apologize for not being
No.
able to follow this perhaps as clearly as I should, but that's a legitimate concern for the commission, and obviously that's helpful for us to have.
Yeah, I don't really know what point you would consider it like we're in the danger zone, because right now we have enough
flush.
revenues in the future to cover what we've already approved, but it's really dependent on what we approve moving forward. Like, we're fine right now.
I would say we're flush at this moment,
Yeah,
but
like $6 million was not, 3 years ago, the Centennial Commission did not have $6 million. It had like $2.5 million. So it's grown. I used to have a slide on cash balances. It's grown substantially. And the last 3 or 4 years, it's just remained flat. So it hasn't like, the cash balance hasn't grown, but it really hasn't like dropped too much either. So I don't feel like we're in a crisis mode at this point.
Well, I think most of us would agree it's not in a crisis moment. We just need to know, is there a canary in the coal mine? That's what we need to know, and thank you very much for your presentation, as always.
And does anybody else have any questions of Paul before we let him go? And Diane, I guess I don't think of it as a reserve. I think of it as our cash on hand money. But is there a number that you think that if we drop below, that it ought to be a signal to us that we need to either find more revenue sources or tighten our belts? What is that magic number, if there is one?
Sebring, for the record, Madam Mayor, I'm not sure if there's a magic number, but I would say maybe once we get down to just 1 million, one thing we can do is we can limit the amount of funding people ask for. We do that with our Historic Preservation Commission grants, where they're only allowed to ask for up to $10,000. So if this commission would like to revise our grant application and put a spending limit on it and say, you can only ask for 100,000 or 150, whatever that number
Per
is.
year, I would imagine.
We can, of course, do that as well.
Okay, I think that's a discussion worth having in the future. Okay. All right, wonderful. If there's no one else that wishes to question Paul, we thank you very much for your report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Agenda item number 6, a final report by Sliction Culture Productions regarding the completion of the Paul Revere Williams documentary funded by the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial. Hello. Welcome. Yes, please, if you don't mind.
This
And
is
would
all
you-
new, so.
Well, for many of us as well. Would you state your name for the record?
Yes, I am Emmett Gates with Sliction Culture Productions, here to give the final report on our latest contribution. And so, am I able to control this screen here?
Yes, yeah, I believe so.
Oh, with this here? Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so that's the end. I need to go to the beginning of this thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about this. All right, so our latest contribution is called Upside Down, Paul Revere Williams in Las Vegas. This, can I pause this thing? To make it just stop like right there?
Does anybody have, and can anyone help Mr. Gates
Yeah, I'm
with
sorry.
his?
Yeah, I just need to pause it so they're not just going through. I'm sorry.
It was auto-playing. Yeah. Dorcac has it, so.
Jeff, not Jeff Dorcack, but Jeff, our
I could
tech
just keep
guy.
going back. And,
There's a timer put on this
Can you
original
fix
one,
the
so it's difficult
slides?
to take off.
right on.
Thank you for your report.
Right on. Okay. So do I continue or am I waiting for?
Why don't, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So this is our second collaboration with the commission. Our last one being the Across the Tracks, the Las Vegas West Side Story, which was a documentary that documented the entire 118-year history of the West Side, historic West Side Las Vegas. It's actually been since we've done it, it's been it gets renewed interest every year. In January of this year, we had a showing of the film with the Leadership Las Vegas Class of 2026, followed by a Q&A with myself, Tyler D. Perry from UNLV, as well as Clay T. White. And we have one coming up with the MGM employee group for Juneteenth. So every year there's renewed interest generally around either February, Black History Month, or Juneteenth. And and we're hoping the same thing with the Paul Revere Williams film as well. So Upside Down, Paul Revere Williams in Las Vegas is the first documentary to focus on Black American architect Paul R. Williams and his works in Las Vegas, Nevada. Often hailed as the architect to the stars, Williams brought his signature Hollywood glamour to the desert landscape of Las Vegas in the mid-20th century, designing some of the city's most iconic structures that blended modernist innovation with elegant sophistication. This documentary explores how Williams, who overcame racial barriers to become one of America's most celebrated architects, left an indelible mark on Sin City through his works. All right, now I'm going to let you guys know up front, there's some limited use of AI imagery in this film, and let me explain to you why. Paul Revere Williams' story starts in the late 1800s, so there's a lot of, we're very limited on pictures and things like that of his early life. So, and I wish I could show you guys on the screen.
Is there no way to show this?
So Mayor Seth Floyd for the record. So according to Jeff, not Dorcak, Basso, in the back, it was sent over as a PDF which had a timer on it, so it's scrolling through automatically. Jeff is trying to remove the timer and get it back on the screen, or we can just have it run, but it will just run through the slides.
I'd like to see
Okay.
it.
All right, sounds good.
And I can just keep going back.
Okay, all right, we'll get it up then and have it run through.
Okay, right on. Yeah, and you'll see when the image is there. For example, I wanted the audience to understand Paul Revere Williams as an individual, you know, more than just an architect. This was a Black man who was born in the 1800s. There you go, right there. You see him as a baby. And we made him extra cute because why not? I needed the audience to
right.
connect with him, right? And we go through the story of his biological parents. This is a story that's rarely told, or if ever. And I think it's very important that I think we do a big disservice to his life when we don't talk about his biological parents. It's usually his parents died when he was young, he was adopted, and then they go from there. But his parents were entrepreneurs at a time in Memphis, Tennessee, late 1800s, when that was very rare. We're talking just half a generation past slavery. These people were able to accomplish what wasn't expected. Memphis, Tennessee at that time was a very integral part for Black Americans. Like I say, it's right after slavery. Memphis was one of those cities that the Union Army was able to capture pretty early. So a lot of Black Americans in the South, they just had to escape and make it to Memphis. So therefore it became a stronghold for Black people. And we don't know too much if his parents were ever enslaved or anything like that, but we do know that they were there. They were entrepreneurs. They both contracted tuberculosis, which they had to force them to move to Los Angeles. And this is how he becomes, this is where he's born, and this is where he starts his journey as an architect. So anyway, the images you see there, they're all AI. They're very limited in the film, so I don't want you guys to think that we abused it. The film goes on to chronicle all of the works in Vegas. Like we see here, Carver Park, which was his very first project in the Las Vegas Valley, would eventually become part of what we know as Henderson today. Then we had Las Vegas Park, which was the racetrack, horse racing track that a lot of people just don't know about, didn't have a very long life at all. And then we have Berkeley Square, which we all know about, Royal, Nevada. And then we go on to La Concha and El Morocco. And through our partnership with the Neon Museum and Aaron Berger being one of our executive producers, we were able to get a very intimate interview with Fred Dumani Jr., whose father commissioned La Concha. And we also got the grandchildren, Fred Dumani Jr. and Lorenzo Dumani. And so they kind of discussed the future of the legacy that they're going. But we did recreate La Concha as it would have been on opening day in 1961. So you'll see that in the film as well. And of course, finally, we have Guardian Angel Cathedral, and we had Bishop Gregory Gordon give us the history from his perspective and his involvement with the church. Now, as we cycled through these accomplishments of Mr. Williams, we flash back to his past. Just so the audience gets a better education of who he was as a person. And there we see some imagery we see him develop as an artist, as we know, documented from the family and whatnot. We talk about the tuberculosis outbreak that struck America at that time, which forced them west. We talk about some of the racial hatred that his parents experienced while they were in Memphis. And so for our local history, we got Carmen Beals, who is the curator at the Nevada Museum of Art, I'm sorry. We have Sarah Hume, who is the deputy director of the Neon Museum. We have Brian Paco Alvarez, who is a born and raised local anthropologist. And of course, we all know Clay T. White, and the associate professor of African American Studies at UNLV, Tyler D. Perry. We also included some contemporary Black artists where we kind of explore some of the things that they still experience that Mr. Williams experienced during his time. For that, we got local artist Brent Holmes. We have Jonna Ireland, who is a photographer from Los Angeles, and it was actually her work that inspired the movement that's happening in LA right now, where there will be, starting this fall, they'll be celebrating citywide the archives of Paul Revere Williams. And then, of course, we have local artist Dale Mathis. If any of you guys have ever, I'm sure you all have been up to the mayor's office. There's this big heart sculpture in there, or there was. He's the artist who did that. And we have special guests. Through our partnership with the Nevada Preservation Foundation, we were able to secure Alan Hess, who is an architect, an author, and a historian. And this great information just about architecture itself and throughout America. And I was really happy to secure Milton S.F. Curry. As you may or may not know, Paul Revere Williams graduated. He was the first Black graduate of USC's School of Architecture. That was in 1919. Almost 100 years later, in 2017, the school appointed its first Black dean, and that was Milton S.F. Curry. He's the one who got the ball rolling on USC, the Getty, as well as LACMA securing the archives of Mr. Williams. Okay, so that was a great interview. And of course, we had Keepers of the Legacy. As you know, people don't think that Vegas holds on to its history. We just tear stuff down and just build over it. But that's not true, and we all know it. So we brought in all of the organizations whose job it is to keep the legacy of Las Vegas alive, starting with April Minch with the Nevada Preservation Foundation. Next, we have Heather Harmon, who will be the executive director of the upcoming Las Vegas Museum of Art. We have our good friend Aaron Berger there to talk about Neon Museum and its function. And we have your own, Diane Seabrandt, who talks about the commission and what you guys do to keep these histories fresh and alive. And so this last slide here, you see the Wilfindale Club. The reason this is here, this was a club started by Paul Revere Williams' wife, in 1945. And whenever I cover, somebody who did something great, I try to also highlight those who helped him. And his wife, she wasn't just some stay-at-home mother while he was out building stuff. She was actually really civically engaged in Los Angeles. And her and her friend wanted to create a place where black people in 1945 could have a place to have dignified meetings, just a place where they could, meet. So they secured this mansion that you see at the bottom there. And of course, Paul Revere Williams comes in and cleans it up and makes it really nice. And this is where Martin Luther King would go to be safe and to have discussions and other civil rights activists. This is where Diego Rivera would have art shows. Again, this is 1945, mid-1940s. The house is still active today. They just did a feature not long ago on 60 Minutes. And the reason I put this up there is that we've been in discussions with them. We will be screening the film there when everything is going down in LA with all of the talk about Paul Revere Williams. We're going to also bring this in. This gives Las Vegas a chance to be included in those discussions, as well as the Will Fendell Club and some other organizations that use this place. And I'm pretty sure the Neon Museum is going to also be around making sure that Las Vegas is included in those. So that's the final report. When we had the premiere at the end of April, we had a lot of young people. And so during the Q&A, I was able to ask the young people what they thought, and they enjoyed it. I asked them what they thought about the AI, most importantly. And they said, well, it helped us understand it better. Because I'm really concerned with young people when they watch these films. Because if you could tell young people, hey, you guys want to watch a film about an architect, unless they're into architecture, they're probably not going to be that excited. But if I say, do you want to watch a film about a guy who overcame incredible odds to accomplish some cool stuff, including some of the stuff you might see here in Vegas, they might be a little bit more apt to view that. So I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to see the film yet, but I really would like to know your thoughts when you do.
I thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, you didn't say where the club is.
I'm sorry?
Where is
I'm
the
sorry.
club?
I didn't mention it. Yeah, that's in Los Angeles.
Well, more specifically, that's
like
the world.
It's a district. It's a high-end neighborhood. I cannot think of the name of it right now, but it's a certain district where the house
Well,
is.
how about east, west, central, Watts?
Yeah, you know what? I've never been there, but
You better get it in your
yeah,
lingo.
absolutely. And you guys will be alerted when we are going to show. You guys will know when this is going to happen.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have a question, Commissioner Mulvery. On the Guardian Angel Cathedral, that was started by the Viatorians. I was there in February of '63. It was designed under the auspices of Bishop Dwyer at the time, but all the Viatorians developed it. The local diocese didn't do that. And were they given credit?
Okay, so as far as that, and listen, when we do these films, one of the hardest things is what we have to cut, because we get so much information and we have to cut a lot for time. So we do talk about the first church that sunk. It was on bad ground.
That was at St. Louis and Eastern.
Okay,
yes.
okay,
I was there
yeah. So we
too for
talk
that.
about that, yeah, and then I just don't know if time permitted us to go that deeply into it because we had so much to cover, but.
I was just thinking 2 lines, that was the clerics of St. Vitus from Chicago, that Arlington Heights, to be specific, that were responsible for that. They went to Modalitz, got a deal, got the land and everything. That was just vacant land back then.
Right.
And they had the courage to do that and hire the architect to get it up and running and everything. But that gets, John Kennedy said, victory's got 100 fathers, defeats an orphan, right?
Right.
So now, I'm not criticizing who you interviewed for, but I did notice a couple of scenarios in another forum where they weren't given any credit for really birthing that.
Okay, yeah, see, I if it wasn't mentioned to me or come up, I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
And Yeah, but that's, yeah.
And last question, where can we see this?
Well, it has been turned in. And again, this is your film. You guys own everything. So a hard drive will be handed over to with all of the raw interviews and whatnot. So the film is there. I guess it's just about a matter of programming when it will be aired.
I can answer that. Sabrin for the record. So first of all, everybody was invited to the premiere. I'm not sure if anybody was able to attend, but we do have the film, and soon as Mr. Gates is done with his presentation today, we'll forward that to our communications office, who will put it in our list of documentaries.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Mr. Stoddall?
Emmett, you and I have had a lot of discussions. I disagree with you fundamentally about your statement that AI is used very limited. I was overwhelmed by the amount of AI that you use, and when you said just today that you even made the baby cuter than before, that made me very, very nervous. That's not what the purpose is. The purpose is reality. Now is not the time. I'm going to let the other members of the commission see the documentary and draw their own conclusions. The documentary that we funded was specifically about the fantastic work that he did in Las Vegas. And so I think if I was, I don't want to do a review at this juncture, but my question to you is, and you alerted us to this fact that you were going to use AI. This wasn't a surprise. It's in your budget or your proposal that you made a couple of years ago that you were going to use it because of what you said. But my question for you is, when should the viewer be alerted that they are watching an AI product? I think it may be obvious that when he was a baby and all that may obviously jump out as being recreated. But when there was a mixture of newsreel footage and AI footage, what would be your recommendation to the commission about how AI material in a historic documentary, how the viewer should be told that? A watermark, because telling me that it's, well, we put it at the end of the credits. I love credits, but the world is leaving the room when credits come up sometimes. So help me with that answer.
Well, you know, and that's a great question. It's a question that I think is still being explored in film because of what's happening. But there has been no definitive, other than when we put it on streaming sites, they do have it on there where there's some AI-generated content that may appear real. And I am interested, because you said mixed with newsreel footage. I did find some footage of Paul Revere Williams and his wife, moving picture footage. That was not AI. I think I was the only one lucky enough to find it. I'm pretty sure other filmmakers are kicking themselves. I found that deep in the Library of Congress. And I was really proud that we were able to put it in the picture of the film. But yeah, I don't know if that's what you were referring to, but the only places, and that's why I say limited, is because it's when we do the flashbacks and we start doing, the period, going back in the 1800s and whatnot. And again, I'm always thinking about young people. I'm thinking about students who may have to watch this in class. And I'm sorry that you felt it was overused. But I just thought it was very important to tell his story as an individual.
I'm sorry, I don't mean AI overuse is not my issue.
Okay.
The value of that in telling a story is alerting the public when they're watching it what's real and what's not, and so that's the. And I was taken back when you said you made him extra cute, because clearly he is extra cute in the. But that's That's, makes me a little nervous. So
Well, you know-
I'm just asking you whether or not you would come to how we let the viewer know, because I think it's something that we need to, in future documentaries, because it's going to be more and more.
Yeah, like I said, that's a very good question. It's one that they're kind of wrestling with in filmmaking as it is how, where do you draw the line?
Well, can we count on you helping us come to that
Well,
answer?
I'll tell you what I can do, I can put a disclaimer at the front of the film.
I'm thinking as we move forward, your expertise in moving forward on what we tell other documentary producers and how the city should do that.
I think if we put a disclaimer at the top of the film saying this film contains, some AI imagery, that way it's documented.
that.
But me and Dr. Seabrand actually discussed it because she was concerned with it when I showed her when we first started using it. She said, I don't know about that. And I was like, I think they'll get it if I explain it, But but I can do that starting with this film. Just put a disclaimer, get that over to Dr. Seabrand, and before she turns it in.
And tell them it wasn't extra cute. No.
Right on.
Thank you.
Right on.
Any other questions? Mr. Gates, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate
much.
you.
Right on.
Agenda item number 7, 26-0204-CLC1. Discussion for possible action regarding approval of funding in the amount of $298,400 for the Culture Dog Films to produce a documentary film titled The History and Impact of the Jewish Community in the City of Las Vegas, Laying the Foundation, 1905 to 1948. This impacts all the wards in the city. Hello, Ms. Greenspun. It's lovely to see you.
Hello. Thank you very much for having us here today. Thank you, Mayor Berkeley, and all the members. What we have to present today is a film, as you've said, which deals with the impact of the Jewish community and the history of that community on Las Vegas. And we do have slides, and I'm like, Chris. I'm Robin Greenspun.
Oh, yes, would you please?
Yes,
and
I'm
would you
so sorry.
introduce your...
Robin Greenspun with Culture Dog Films, and this is Chris DeFranco with Quiet Film. He is my producing partner and is the editor on all of my films, and will be on this one too. To start with, the history of the Jewish community of Las Vegas goes back way before anybody thinks of immediately when they think of the Jewish community, because the first name that comes up is Bugsy Siegel. No matter what you do, that's the name people come up with. And actually, he didn't arrive in Las Vegas until 1945. The history of Las Vegas, of the Jewish community, starts in 1905, about the same time as the history of Las Vegas itself. Around 1905, 1906, the first documented Jewish settler was a man by the name of Adolf Levy. And following him comes a bigger impact in around the 1920s, but there are names that appear around the time of Adolf Levy. And we will be researching to make sure that we have all of those names. I have it on good advisement that there's actually an explorer that came that was a Jewish settler before 1905. So we're going to see whether or not we can hash that out with our research.
Well, let's make Mr. Levy very cuter than he is.
Yeah, we'll
Use
give
a
it
little
try.
AI.
We'll see what we can do. But around the 1920s, we do start to see more of an influx. But it was a very unstable population. One of the reasons being that a lot of the Jewish settlers, if you will, really split their time between California and Las Vegas. A lot of them were land speculators. A lot of them had businesses in LA, but then also came to Las Vegas and started businesses here. So they went back and forth, and some ended up establishing many community stores, but then ended up going back to Los Angeles. So they were not always here and then stayed here. But As we get further into the 20s, we end up with Mike and Sally Gordon, who actually have the first child in the Jewish community that was born here. And we do have information on them, and we will be exploring them. By the 1930s, this is when the names pop up that a lot of you are familiar with. So the Nate Mack family. Everybody knows the name Mack, Thomas and Mack. Well, they started here actually in the 1930s, and I don't think many people realize how far back that family goes. There are other names, Harry Waldman, Harry Levy, and for me, Flora Chachinsky, who, as you all know her, Flora Duncan. She was a Las Vegas activist, and there is a building at UNLV that is named after her.
Yes, indeed.
So there you go. We've broken this film into chapters. The first chapter, 1905, will explore further the Jewish roots and the birth of the Jewish community. When we get into 1905 through 1920, we will continue with the growth as we've outlined. Around that time, we also start to develop through newspaper articles of the time from the Las Vegas Age and others, notices of holidays and activities within the Jewish community. There was nothing established to any note, but these things start to pop up. So there was a movement to start having an organized Jewish community. And so we'll be researching the other notable events and the arrival of new faces and uncovered through our research. We're going to be using, Michael Green will be he's our consultant, but through him we are going to be employing two research assistants in the graduate program at UNLV, and they will be doing the bulk of the research. We have a lot of outlets in Las Vegas through the Jewish community. Through Jewish Las Vegas, which was formerly known as the Jewish Federation, with their records. But we have a wonderful Jewish heritage oral history that is housed at UNLV in their special collections. So we will be using Aaron May's expertise too to help us a lot with this. We will also be doing research throughout the country. A lot of these settlers and families who ended up here, we all started mostly in Eastern Europe and came to New York first or on to the East Coast and then made the move out west. So why? Why did they end up in Las Vegas? That will be one of the things that we're hoping to explore through our research. In Chapter 2, the first actual organization in Las Vegas was called the Sons of Israel, and they were developed, they became an organization in 1931. From there, we're going to explore the dam years, because that impacted the whole Las Vegas community, obviously. And there were, the ups and the downs of that. But that's when the hospitality industry really, really came about. And again, this is even still before Bugsy Siegel arrived. So we'll examine the dam years. And in 1939, the World War II begins, and it did impact not only Las Vegas, obviously, but the Jewish community was greatly impacted by World War II, as we all know. So that's what we will explore in Chapter 2. Chapter 3, we're going to get into deeper, Chapter 3 into the Las Vegas Jewish community during the war and the post-war years. For instance, in 1946, the first Las Vegas Jewish Community Center opened. So there was finally a place for gathering of the Jewish community. And 46, 47, with the opening of the Flamingo Hotel, that's the start.
Bugsy.
Yes, there we go. Bugsy is finally with us, although he actually started downtown at the El Cortez, which he then sold. But in 1947, the Las Vegas Jewish Community and the United Jewish Appeal, which became, it was a national fundraising tool for the Jewish community throughout the United States. And it finally had a branch in Las Vegas. And I will now tout my father-in-law. But during this time period too, Hank Greenspun was sentenced under the U.S. Neutrality Act and ended up losing his citizenship, but remained in Las Vegas, and we purchased the Las Vegas Free Press, which, as you all hopefully are aware, became the Las Vegas Sun. So there are new names coming in around the time of World War II. And then we are going to end this film when, in 1948, with the birth of modern Israel and the impact of that on the Las Vegas community. And I've already been asked the question, well, why would you select that? Why would that affect the Jewish community so greatly? Good, bad, or indifferent, the formation of Israel as a country has impacted the world. So we will explore through that, how did it impact the Las Vegas community? And it did. Absolutely. Again, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, we see an influx of Holocaust survivors within our community that come out of this time period too. We now have generations of, multi-generations of Holocaust survivors, children and grandchildren who are now residents and are part of a vital part of our community. So it feels like the right place to end the film. If we had more time within this film, we could explore further. But our suggestion is that we start with this time period, and then if this is as successful as we feel it will be, we have part 2 that will then be presented at a later date once we finish this.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes, go ahead, Kevin.
Kevin Mills for the record.
Yes.
I do hope that any film like this will include mention of the Wiener family that moved here in 1931. They had a tailor shop down on Fremont Street.
100%.
Louis Wiener was actually Benny Siegel's attorney.
Yes.
And helped many people start businesses here in this town.
Oh, yes. We don't have time to go through the list of names that are the people that were so instrumental in getting us to where we are today. And within this time frame for this film, he is absolutely on the list, 100%.
Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Coffin.
Thank you, Mayor. I came here in 1951. I like to talk about that only because it's the end of an era for me. And here, as a kid growing up in the 50s, I was started at about age 8. I was only surrounded by my fellow playmates, Mormons, Catholics, and Jews. And I don't think we knew of another religion. I just don't think we could tolerate another religion. We were all equal, truly, and buddies all the way. And it just crossed all lines. Somehow it got messed up, even later. But that kind of thing was a certain amount of tolerance that we were growing up with, and just never called about anything else. I was called anti-Semitic a few years ago because I tried to separate Israel from a greedy developer's ambitions,
Let's not get into that.
I won't mention him.
Stop.
I won't mention him, get you in trouble.
It's not getting me in trouble, but I think you're getting yourself in trouble. All right. Any other? Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, Robin, I think it's a great idea, but I'd like to see you go on with Chapter 4 and bring in Jay Sarno and Steve Wynn and Sheldon Adelson.
That's the next, if we do it, if we're successful for this, the next film, that is a major part of that. It's a component of that. We didn't want to bring that to you today because this is a separate project to start with, and we didn't want to bring you 2 films at one time. But the second part of this would be the gaming industry, the development of the strip. Actually, Heidi Sarno is on my list for this, starting with this film, as one of the people to be interviewed, leading up to the next chapter. The other names that are not on here. The Mlaskys, the Adelsons, the land development that happened after this is really significant. And those are the names that are still around, as are many of these. But there are developments in the medical field, development, hospitality. There's so many avenues that we just can't cover in a little over an hour in this film. So that would be the idea for the next one. But
Mr. Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mrs. Greenspan, good to see you.
Nice to see you
I
too.
have to say that I think you've hit on something. Has there, to your knowledge, has there been a documentary done, something similar like this before?
I don't think there's been a documentary. There's an organization that unfortunately is defunct, but all of the files are at the UNLV Special Collections, which was the Jewish Heritage. I'm trying to think what it was. The Jewish Heritage Initiative, I think. And so there are a lot of materials. There's a lot of interviews that they did, but there's also through Jewish Nevada there are. There's an oral history project that was done that deals with a lot of these names that we're talking about, going back to before the names that we all recognize easily. So that's I have not seen a documentary specifically about the Las Vegas community, and we've I think if it was there we would see it.
Yeah. Well, you would know about it.
I would
I'm sure
know about it,
Mayor
yeah.
Berkeley would know about it, or somebody would know about it.
Yeah.
So, somewhat my point is this. I think you've hit on something, and where you can go with this is endless. And the impact that the Jewish community has made into our community is, I don't think you can really put a price on it, right? It's very formidable. One of the challenges that we have with this, just for your FYI, for this committee, is that we are charged to focus on Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's easy to go outside of the city of Las Vegas and talk about the boundaries of Southern Nevada and the history of that. And so I would, it's going to be a challenge for you.
Yeah.
and the team to sort of narrow that, singularly focus on strictly Las Vegas. And then I will also make a suggestion, which we've done in the past, so I'm not stepping on the line, is that sometimes we will fund a project specifically gearing towards Las Vegas. Now, if you go out and do something outside of that expands from that, then I would be on you to figure that out.
Right.
Maybe the county may have some opportunity to do some things as well. But so we do have a history of taking a project and sort of segmenting it out to Las Vegas. We fund that, and then you go from there. But I wish you all the best, and I think it's going to be great.
Thank you. But to answer your question about that, this first project, this first film, I don't think is as challenging as it will be after this. My family moved here in 1954, so I grew up here and within the Jewish community, and everything was in the city of Las Vegas because there was nothing, for the most part, as far as community, much further out that impacted us. The only synagogue was in Las Vegas. Was Las Vegas proper, and everything was downtown. All of our entertainment was downtown. So I don't see that as being an issue for this first film. I think it's going to be a really interesting issue for any follow-up films. But I think that a lot of the development, even though the people whose names we will include ended up with projects in the county, a lot of them started with downtown in the gaming industry and other areas. So,
and as a quick follow-up, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
through you, have you thought about the use of the documentary, where it would be shown? We also sometimes ask about that, how the city will have access to it, how it will be displayed, where you will present it, where it would go, where it will live, how do people access it?
I'm
Mayor,
not
would
sure
you
that
like-
you're the right one to answer it. Diane, how do we roll this out and where will it be available to see?
See, Brent, for the record, so this is going to be similar to our Boyd production movies. So we own the rights to it, and it will be on our documentary webpage for anybody to view.
And I have a feeling that we are going to roll this out, and it'll be a very big premiere. I'm very
thank
excited.
you.
And you will be our special guest, Mr. Creer.
Yes, please.
Thank you, can't wait.
Will there be any other sponsors?
Not to my knowledge.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Coffin asked if there'd be any other sponsors for this film.
Not for this first one, no. I think because it deals specifically with the city, this budget, we're asking for the full budget from you.
And Mr. Stoddall, may I have a motion?
Well, actually, I'd like three quick questions. The first one is that, please write the name Joseph Bloom down.
I think I have that already, don't I?
Mr. Bloom was a reporter for the Review Journal in the 1960s, and I believe the first Jewish reporter.
Okay.
My question is for the gentleman to your right. What, because of the period we're talking about, 1905, what do you see as the use for AI?
You know, it is an amazing tool, and I see being able to relate stories that we will be told or articles that will be referenced to, any portions of history that we don't have access to, being able to create those, but create those in a style. You know, one of the things, a documentary we just finished, we used to tell the story of early Cuba and Castro's rise and Operation Peter Pan and how that worked. There's no real footage of that. So what we did is we created illustrated animations through AI where it's not photorealistic, but it tells the story.
How do you identify this? Really, I think the use of AI.
We would essentially, you'll either be told from the narrator's standpoint, or you're going to have what would look like closed captioning that would identify, just like a photo credit would. So if it's like from the sun or from a specific photographer, it's the same thing. You apply the credit to that particular artificial intelligence, that AI, because it's just like an artist. That model, it's called a model or a seed that you plant within that specific AI that you have to give credit for because they created that. So it's just like a photographer. It's just like a newspaper article that you're pulling. You need to give them the reference and you need to give them credit. So the same works for AI.
Great, thank you. The last two comments. One is that it seems that this has one of the challenges is to become less of a historic documentary and more of a celebration of life and of contributions that were made, as opposed to understanding how the Jewish community was treated in 1905 or 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever, and not just the things that were accomplished, but challenges that were met. And I think the second series of these documentaries, I don't know how you're going to squeeze all.
I'm trying to focus just on this one to start with,
Yeah,
because
so
it's
let's stay
mind-boggling.
with this one. And then my last thought is, I think what you're doing is going to set a model for other opportunities for a documentary on the 1905 to 1930 Hispanic community. Or the Asian American community. Those have not been done. So
Agreed.
You have some significant responsibility on your back. But I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second? All right, all those in favor of approving agenda item number 7, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank
Ms.
you so
Fudge.
much.
Could I ask Robin just one quick question?
Yes, you may.
Yes, sir.
Early 1949, I was a member of the B'nai B'rith Troop 70 Boy Scout troop here in Los Angeles. And we met at a synagogue along about 9th Street, as I recall. Later became the Greek Orthodox Church until they built their. Is that the first synagogue? I was there a lot.
That was because that wasn't Beth Shalom yet.
No, not
No.
now.
I think it
So,
may have been.
Very well. It could have also been the Jewish Community
We
Center.
were the Nate Mac B'nai B'rith.
Yes.
Yes.
The Jewish Community Center.
Yes,
that-
it was.
okay,
I
anyway,
think
don't
it was
mean
the
to take
Jewish
everybody's
Community
time,
Center
But if
at
that
that
was
point.
the first synagogue, just be interesting. No,
Yes.
sorry to
Oh,
take
it will
everybody's
be.
time.
It will be in there.
And
Thanks,
can
Robin.
you also add that Senator Bryan was one of the Jewish troop members?
Yes, most definitely.
I think that deserves at least a chapter or
I
something.
believe so.
And make them extra cute.
I'd make him extra cute. Oh, gosh. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 8, 26-0166-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $160,000 by the Neon Museum for the costs associated with the planning and running of the Duck Duck Shed, celebrating Las Vegas architecture, design, and culture 2026 4-day event to be held in the fall of 2026, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. This impacts all wards. Hello, Mr. Berger.
Hello, Mayor, and hello, Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you. I wanted, before, I think Robin left.
Oh.
I wanted to just say two things. One is, as a former Jewish museum director, I applaud you all for supporting this film. I'm very excited about it. If the Neon Museum can be of support in talking about the Jewish influence in the creation of show production that was done here in the early 30s, we are happy to be that resource as well. So
that's
very
lovely.
excited
Thank
about
you.
that. So thank you very much for that support. Very, very happy to be talking about Duck Duck Shed. I thought it might be helpful if we've had some conversation in the past about what is Duck Duck Shed. And so we actually have sat back and really examined it from multiple angles. The first is that this is a citywide event, and while it is held downtown, it will be at the California this year as the host hotel. Each year it is always held on or around Fremont Street, so Golden Nugget, Circa, Binion's was last year, and this year the California. It is different. The media describes it as part conference, part festival, and part immersion. It's experiential, not just educational, so attendees don't just listen to a panel discussion, they tour historic sites. For example, our walking tours of historic Fremont Street actually take you into the 1906 room, or you're going into Frank Sinatra's green room at the Golden Nugget and having a chance to see things that you normally wouldn't. You even get into the men's room there at Main Street Station. Which I know is always a popular destination.
The highlight of the tour.
highlight of the tour is the men's room, always. It is also grounded in a single city and deeply. So each year, the programming is one city, it's one cultural identity, and one evolving story. So the programming is changing each year, providing different aspects of what makes this unique, incredible city. It's also, and this has been our research, so far we have not found another museum in the United States that creates its own conference. We are the only one in the US to create a conference. So it is therefore it's produced by the Neon Museum, which means that the work is curated, it's scholarly, but we make sure that it's accessible. Locals, nationals, internationals are welcome to come and do attend. Access to this, again, just speaks to the fact that we are giving people that behind the curtain of view to understanding what is Duck Duck Shed. So we like to work under this umbrella of architecture, design, and culture. We have panels, author talks. We did a movie premiere last year. We had walking tours, culinary events, family programming, and exhibitions. In these photos, this is just last year alone, showcasing everything from the walking tour of you've got a collage exhibition, UNLV students. You have the movie premiere at Circa, which held in the pool, which was very unique and a lot of fun. 1,000 people bobbing away on a rather cold night, but enjoying it. And then, of course, we had the collection at City Hall of the Cirque du Soleil collection. Over the years, we have grown. So we started this in 2022. We had 31 individual programs, a little over half sold out. And that received attendees from the Netherlands, UK, Canada, Australia, and 27 states. We had about 3,400 tickets, individual tickets sold. 23, we increased that by about 15%, 29 programs, a few less, but still around 30. And attendees, same countries, 26 states. By the last year, we were at 41 programs, 72% sold out, same countries, 30 states, and we were over 5,000 tickets sold. So these are people coming in and attending. The AIA, so we've had in this time since 22, we've had a 61% increase since 23. The AIA logo is that we have partnered with the American Institute of Architects so that those architects can attend these panels and be an active, engaged participant and receive continuing ed credits for these last 2 years. We also have a donor this year that is actually looking to fund Arizona State students to begin attending in this year. So bringing tourism downtown and engaging in the stories of Las Vegas. The media attention has been very, very strong with this. I can read these individual, no, I can't, not without glasses. I can read some of these headlines to you that are wonderful and very moving. Duck Duck Shed makes the case for Las Vegas architecture. Duck Duck Shed returns for another deep dive into what makes Las Vegas tick. Duck Duck Shed may become one of the city's must-do arts and culture events, and it's only in its second year. But the important circle in that bottom left corner is that just last year alone, we had 921 million hits, media impressions, in just 2025 alone. So the attention that this is drawing is really 3 times that of the population of the United States. Our partners are growing. We have been a very strong reliant and very thankful to the Centennial Commission for standing in front and being our seed funders for making this possible. Las Vegas, LVCVA, Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, has also been a partner. We are changing our partnership with them. We have come to them and said, okay, we're in year 4. We want to move from 5,000 visitors to 10,000 visitors. How do we do this? You make conventions, make this one. And so they are actually partnering with us to make this a very different aspect than it has before. But we have been going through and asking for individual sponsors so that the Centennial Commission is not standing alone. This year, our lineup is beginning to take form. We should have this ready for you by the end of June at the absolute latest. But so far, we have 10 panels, 2 Arthur Talks, 2 curator tours, 2 walking tours, a culinary event, 2 family programs, 1 sign lighting, and then bringing back again the UNLV collage competition. These are bringing in scholars from around the country, from incredibly prestigious universities, to come and speak about Las Vegas as a destination and giving a new perspective on this wonderful and very different community. The request that we have is for $160,000. The part that I think and I hope the commission will be pleased to see is this is a 20% reduction. So in the beginning, when we came to you and asked for funding, we asked for money and said, we do not intend to be on Centennial's teat for life. This is not a new offering of the Centennial Commission. This is something that we are going to continue to withdraw or lower our ask each year so that we can continue to grow our sponsorships while still growing the programming. So the emphasis is on that sponsorship. This gives you a breakdown of what that 160,000 will do. So using the downtown revenues, venue rentals rather, an event coordinator who makes my life much easier, honorariums to bring in these specific people, and then of course marketing and using marketing dollars. The other thing, and I just want to leave it on this note, this is the front page of the Modernism Week website. If you just pull it up, you'll see this exact page. If you look closely, they are using our tagline. They have shifted to our tagline. So they are celebrating mid-century architecture, design, and culture. We are starting to change something like Modernism Week. And Modernism Week, for those that may not be familiar, Modernism Week started off as a 3-day weekend in Palm Springs. It attracted 11,000 people in those 3 days. Now, almost 19 years later, it is attracting over 180,000 people over 11 days. That is our goal. Our goal is to continue to grow Duck Duck Shed day over day so that we continue to create this tourist driver here to downtown Las Vegas so that people can continue to learn about what makes this city tick and have a new perspective on the city. So I just brought this little slide because, I don't know, flattery. I'm happy to take your questions.
Thank you. Do any commission members have any questions or comments? Mr. Stodo.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's been a minute.
A couple of questions. I didn't quite understand when you said Las Vegas or this event, we're the only city in the country that does.
No, we're the only museum. The only museum that is actually creating a conference. There is no museum in the United States that is creating its own conference and actually creating, in our case, a 4-day window of 40 programs that are held over 4 days. Please do the research. We're doing it ourselves, but we have not found another museum. There are museum conferences. In fact, I leave next week for the American Alliance of Museums conference. That conference exists, but those are for museums to come together. This is a conference curated by a museum for the greater community.
Okay. First of all, thank you for putting in, although it's required, but you did follow the rules and putting in the details of past grants. And it does reflect what you said, that I think one was for 200,000. This one is for less than that.
Correct.
You started to say that there would be a time you were going to withdraw, and then you said that you're going to look for lowering it. Is that, do you think, lowering it to or withdrawing over a 3 or 5 year period? How much, any projection you could give us? Even, we won't hold you to it, but I mean.
Sure. I would hope that the Centennial Commission would celebrate anything that is going to bring in an audience to learn about this city. So I will always come to you, and it may be a $10,000 request, but I will always come to you and ask to support this incredibly important adventure.
Okay, you will find my support if you had just added one more phrase,
Sure.
and that's historic preservation.
Sure.
We don't need to learn about the city today. That's somebody else's function. Ours is historic preservation, and that's what your conference is about in large part.
It is. It's absolutely looking back. We're looking back and understanding how we have gotten to today. Yeah.
I think you've answered my questions. I would make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor of approving $160,000 for the Neon Museum's Duck Duck Shed event, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition?
Aye.
Okay, do we know who that was?
Commissioner Brown, is that an aye?
Excuse me, I said aye, but I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
She's okay. In that case, motion passes. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank
We
you very,
appreciate
very
it.
much. We appreciate your kind support.
Our pleasure. Agenda item number 9, 26-0169-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $750,000 by the Plaza Hotel and Casino for the production of the 2027, 28, 29, 30, and 31 Eldorado Days Rodeo, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. This is in Ward 5, but it affects the entire Las Vegas city area. And welcome very much, and will you please state your name for the record?
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners. Jonathan Jossel with the Plaza.
Hi, I'm Michelle Evans, Vice President of Sales, Catering, and Court Arena.
Natasha White, Director of Marketing for the Plaza.
And it is Natasha's birthday, so hopefully she has a wonderful
happy
day.
birthday.
She chose to celebrate with all of you.
This is like kind of historical significance for the city.
Very.
All right. Does anybody?
She's not that old.
No,
Oh, she
right.
is. I was a little sad this morning.
But it gets better with time, I promise you. Is there, no, he says no. Is there anybody that wants a recap of why we're here, or should we just get into the meat and potatoes of a motion? Mr. Stoddall, what would you prefer?
I'd like to make a statement in advance because the bottom line is I'm going to be voting no on this project for several reasons. I've outlined them in a copy that I've given the clerk as well as each member of the commission. I'm just not comfortable with 5 years. This commission also has discussed that originally for maybe a couple of decades. It was 1 year. Then we looked at the opportunities for 2 years. A lot of discussion about that, but we moved forward with that. Then there was an effort to go to 3 years, and that was turned down. And the real challenge with 5 years, and I was looking for, and it's a minor point, but the listing of previous grants that are required to be listed in the application, they're not here in your application. There should be in this particular application, but I went back and did some research, and it looks like the amount of money that has passed is about $1 million, 950 that the Centennial Commission has funded for this project. I gave members of your staff a copy of the reasons why, and I think there's two fundamental reasons without reading this and just making it short. And one is oversight and the potential change in society and what we want to do. I've always had an awkward moment with the rodeo. I don't think it really fits into our fundamental mission of historic preservation. But there's enough elements, and the staff has worked to bring that closer and having historic items in there. But if this commission approves a 5-year grant request, then I can almost guarantee you that we will have any number of other 5-year grants, whether it's the Eldorado Parade or the Martin Luther King Parade or Duck Duck Shed or the Historic Preservation Foundation with their Home and History Tour, or we've got a June festival coming up later for potential funding. So we're going to see everybody coming for 5 years, and that just does not allow this commission to find accountability. Plus, the contract as it stands now, the agreement says only that you would have to come back at the end of 5 years to give a final report. The contract needs to be updated no matter what, whether it's for a 2-year deal, a 3-year deal, or whatever, to reflect that we need a report every year, and that report be lived up to, which is detailed financial report to this commission. We didn't hear that today with the gentleman that did the documentary on Paul Revere Williams. It was a wonderful visual presentation, but it was supposed to be detailed financial report. And I wanted to know how much money they spent on AI. So we have a better understanding of, as a commission, of what are going to be our future funding challenges. I cannot support 5 years. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Mr. Truesdale, would you care to comment on your original?
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes. My desire to move for 5 years in support of this is, I guess, we all come from a different period of life in Las Vegas. And to me, the rodeo, like the parade, has always been that historical connection from the time I moved to Las Vegas. So I see the historic preservation part of it slightly different than Mr. Stoldahl, and I understand his position totally. I do agree with him, though. We should have an annual accounting. I thought that was standard in our agreements. But I wanted to propose this as a way to create the historical picture and a time frame for us to exit being the primary supporter of this. And in looking at things at the plaza, the successes over the last couple of years, felt the 5 years at a preset annual amount would give some consistency for the commission to support it, but also a way of saying, this is our commitment. We're not, I would find myself hard pressed if they can't stand on their own 2 feet at the end of this 5-year period, supporting it again. So I'm upfront about that. But I do believe what they've accomplished and what has happened for the benefit of downtown, connecting the parade and the rodeo together, does a lot for what we want our downtown history to represent. No matter how we look at it, we're a Wild West town, born of the Wild West, born of the gaming, and this, in my view, is one of the events. While it's not a historic video commitment, it is a living commitment to the history as I see Las Vegas, downtown.
Thank you so much, Senator Bryan.
Yeah, I'm not going to support this or any other proposal for 5 years. That's where I'm coming from. Reluctantly, I voted previously to support that. I'm giving some hard thought to it. I know a lot of work went into this. It reminds me a little bit of the experience we had a few years ago when the Elks sponsored rodeo, and they came in every year, had a lot of personal. My father was the exalted ruler of the Elks Lodge. Every year they came in, every year, and they just, in my view, didn't perform what we expected, and ultimately, we no longer funded them. So that's my 2 cents worth. I mean, Mayor and the rest of the commission, 5 years is a non-starter for me.
Thank you so much. Mr. Coffin.
Thank you, ma'am. I think that, I do have some questions about the 5 years as well. I also have something to say in general about what the plaza's been doing here. The plaza has done something that the city did not want to do. It kept alive for us the name. It kept alive for us this date or this period that I came in 75 years ago and still remember. And I really believe others need to remember. Sometimes you have to tell people sometimes you have to hit them on the head. This is our history, and I think we should support it. I really do. I don't know of another casino downtown that has helped or has even tried to help on this. Am I wrong? Is there any other casino that's expressed an interest in trying to preserve our history?
It's my understanding that the Plaza, and I'll let Jonathan speak for the Plaza, but the Plaza is reaching out to the other casinos in downtown Las Vegas and asking them to become part of this, which I think would be very helpful.
Well, I think it would be more helpful if we reached out, and particularly those electeds, like I guess half the streets in Ward 3 and half the streets in Ward
Bob,
5
answer
as
your question.
usual.
Answer you the
And there's a
question.
mayor who overrides it all. Yes, ma'am.
The
Sir.
Golden Gate, clearly, and the Nevada Hotel there, and the Cirque both all have historic city of Las Vegas history elements to it. I mean, the Golden Gate is the oldest hotel we got, 1906. It's still there. So I understand what you're saying about the Plaza, but there are other places, whether it's the El Cortez, that are preserving the history of this community in their own way. And
I know these, Bob. I'm just saying, reclaiming my time if I could, ma'am. Sir, I just wanted to say that, yes, they all, on their own, for their own customers, once they're in the door, they do things for them. But here's something that the Plaza's been doing for all of us, for all their customers too. And, I don't think I ever envisioned when I supported the creation of the downtown as it stands today, I did not realize that we might be locking out history, that we might be making it very hard for history to continue despite the best efforts, at least at the Plaza. And granted, I'll always give credit to anybody, the El Cortez, et cetera, from the day one. But really, I'm not sure that it should end today. I think that I can't support the 5 years either. But I think that there should be an effort made. I brought it up last meeting, that there should be an effort to engage the other casinos in El Dorado in some way. And I think if it embarrasses them, just because they're being selfish about this community event, then let it be exposed. Let them say no and say why. Well, we're taking care of our customers. Well, how about taking care of the city for an hour or two every year? That's kind of like where I'm going. So
thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And who knows how
And
I'll vote.
Mr. Jostle, would you care to comment before I call for the vote?
Yeah, sure. I think just to remind everyone, when we came here at the last meeting, our initial request was that if we could own El Dorado as a brand, we were happy to underwrite it. We haven't made money in the years you're referring to that we've had the funding. This has not been a profitable adventure for the Plaza. This has been something we were asked to do when the rodeo was going to die. We did it because we had the infrastructure and the facility out there, even though it still costs us money to put on the rodeo. So we undertook the venture of it, and then we realized with the funding ending, why would we continue to fund this if we don't in fact own it and can be taken away from us? We do believe after, call it 3 to 5 years, last year was the first year we were able to charge money for tickets. If we continue to build it with your support, we do believe it'll become self-sufficient. 5 years would be great to get to that point. And with the license that we discussed at the last hearing, that we can use the brand. We don't want to use this brand and then you guys or somebody else takes it from us. So if we know we can use it after the 5 years with a license agreement, then we're comfortable to take on that risk at our own expense. We always anticipated we'd have to do annual accounting for the commission. If that wasn't in the document, we never thought we were just taking 5 years and never coming back. And we are moving the date to combine it with the rodeo. And we believe we will have the support of others downtown, but frankly, it's just been too small. Like I said, it's been something that only had 3,000 free tickets over 2 nights. We're going to double the capacity and build it up to 6,000 people over 2 nights and ultimately continue to build that. So with that, once that happens, we had the same conversation with the LVCVA where they want to get more involved once we grow the attendance. And once we grow the attendance, we know the other casinos will pay more attention to it. But when you're talking about 1,500 people, it's just too small to get their attention from a business perspective. So we're very comfortable that we can build this, but it is difficult to do it knowing that every few months we have to come here and get beat up a little bit and listen to the same conversation.
These are love taps, I can assure you.
Yes. And if everyone believes in El Dorado, we're here to build it. We have the facility, and that's our plan.
You know, I'm not a Western type of gal, but you know, I'm in that El Dorado parade every year. When I was a kid, I was there as a spectator, and now that I'm mayor, I'm in a very lovely car. It's great. But I have to say, when this Saturday, when I was in the parade, and I kept thinking about the rodeo and how wonderful it would be if once the parade is over, there was something else for me to look forward to engage more, because I agree with Mr. Coffin and those that have spoken before me. In my mind, it is a part of our legacy and our history. Now, I understand that technically we were probably not a rodeo town, but it is a part of what people think of Las Vegas and old Las Vegas, and I would hate to see that tradition disappear. And there's a danger in that happening if we don't support this, to give you the opportunity to get on your feet and become self-sustaining. So at this point, I would entertain a motion by Mr. Mr. Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, just a quick comment. You know, I think I was the one that approached Jonathan actually about looking to find ways to support the El Dorado Days rodeo, because it's hard to plan out when you're running a business year to year of what you want to do if you don't know if you're going to have the support. So I can attest to that. If you know you have the support over the next couple of years, then you're able to plan, you're able to make it bigger, better, because you know it's going to be there. 5 years could be a stretch. I thought 3 years, 2 to 3 years. 3 years is probably maybe a better sweet spot for it. And there's no doubt that they would have to come back every year. I mean, there are a lot of ways you can position a contract. You can position over a 3-year period with 1 year automatic renewals, unless the commission decides not to renew it, right? But they'll know at least they have 3 years, and they would come and present. And if the commission decides not to, they can always pull it back. I mean, if there's some malfeasance or something taking place. But I would be in support of supporting them in some of the 3 to 5 years, with them coming back every year, not with per se a renewal, but with an update. The board can always say, hey, you aren't doing what you said you're going to do. We're going to take it away from you. Sorry. Good luck, is my 2 cents.
Okay, I appreciate that. Mr. Before I entertain Mr. Arnold's motion, Mr. Truesdale, did you want to close us out?
I think it's what Commissioner Greer presented is, you know, possibly an alternative to look at. But I do believe in my heart of hearts, if we look at a 4 or 5 year window, this will be a self-sustaining success story for Las Vegas downtown. And I really hope that staff, council, we all can find a way to reach out to the rest of the properties and get them to buy into the dream of growing this as a sustainable element for our community.
Thank you so much. Mr. Arnold, will you make a motion?
We got one more down here.
Oh, yes, Kevin.
Sorry, Mills for the record. Something just occurred to me. Would it be beneficial to go to the rest of the casino owners and tell them that we have a 5-year commitment as opposed to a 3-year commitment or whatever? Would that be much more helpful? I mean, are you getting any positive response from the other casino owners at all?
Yeah, we are. We've had some positive response, but it's been considered as a smaller attendance and a free rodeo. I think once we upgrade that with an experience like we're talking about now, with the VIP area and an upscaled event, we can definitely get them to use it as a place for their casino guests. So I do think once we have the support of this and we have the shared vision for how we plan to grow it, I feel pretty comfortable. At least two of the bigger players down there will get behind it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mills.
Madam Mayor, can I have a clarifying
yes, of
question?
course,
Thank you.
Councilwoman.
This is for our city attorney. So today, as posted on our agenda, is there any leeway for us to modify? I like former Councilman Creer's line of thinking to approve it for X number of years with, the potential to renew an additional couple. But I'm not sure if the agenda item as posted has the flexibility to move that or massage that in. So I just kind of wanted to know, what do we have the possibility on voting on today?
Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. Councilwoman, you can go ahead. It's agendized for 5 years, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31, along with an amount of money, $750,000 in total. That's $150,000 a year. With something like that, we would be fine with going down. You could reduce years and reduce the amount. You just can't go beyond the years that have been agendized or that $750,000 that's been put on the agenda.
Mr. Arnold.
I'm put on the spot here. Commissioner Arnold, for the record, I spoke on this. I feel I speak on this on every occurrence. I'm a supporter. I want to see it happen. I like what you guys are saying. I want to see this thing get the momentum it needs. I appreciate you moving the date. I also have tremendous respect for my fellow commissioners, Stoddall and Brian, and also the others that have spoken here. To me, I feel like I'm always trying to find that middle ground. I think 3 years is it. I think 3 years is the magic number at this point, because I want to see you guys continue. Let's get over this hurdle. But with the understanding that we're still looking for, like you said, for you guys to continue to whittle down, not rely on us, but we want to see it self-sustain. I don't know if we need to entertain, those one-year options. I feel like you're going to come back to us either way for these fun conversations. But my motion would be for 3 years at $150,000 each.
Is there a second?
No, I have a question, and that is, we have been down this path before. We had a commitment from the Plaza Hotel. If we gave them money for 3 years, that at the end of the 3 years, that would be it. Now we're just doing the same thing again for another 3 years, and we'll do the same thing for another 3 years. We need some honesty with this is going on. I don't understand why, if you think you can be successful, why it rests solely on the word Eldorado. You could call it the PRC, the Plaza Rodeo Center. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you could do this. Why you feel the Eldorado thing is something that is so that we have to sign it over to you.
Why wouldn't you let us take the name Eldorado then? Why are you protecting it?
It would be the city is protecting it, not the commission.
Because there's history to it and there's some value
Of course.
to it. Yes. That's the answer.
But it went away for years. It went away for years and years and years. And the Centennial Commission brought it back for 1 year, and then we got a bunch of smoke and mirrors for 3 or 4 years.
We fully understand your position and respect it. Do I have a second?
Second.
I just want to comment really quick, Mayor, before we take a vote. I understand Commissioner Stoddall's frustration, but I do see that there could be potential value added. So, for example, the parade being executed on its own, I feel is lackluster, and we don't have other activities to bolster the Eldorado days. And it was sad for me to go down the parade trail this year and not see excitement for the parade. My hope is, with the parade and the rodeo happening in the same vein at the same time, that there will be some energy and synergy and excitement created, because now we're channeling more than just the parade. It'll be 2 major events in our city, and hopefully we can see the heydays and the people who are excited about the rodeo come out to do both events. And I think we get more bang for our buck as a city in trying to bring people with that interest in Eldorado for 2 major events at the same time. So I'm excited to see them work in concert, because they've been working in isolation. You had the rodeo happening in the fall, the parade happening in May, and it falls flat. Like the parade is not taking off on its own. And so I am excited to see, can we see it be really cool and exciting and see a lot of people in their Western wear walking down to enjoy everything that hopefully the city wants to get behind and bring that sentiment of our, heyday, glory days and yesteryears when a lot of cowboys wanted to come down. But that's why I'm going to support, because I think there is some potential to see some more folks come and be part of our city and celebrating.
Thank you so much. Mr. Arnold, you're saying 3 years, $150,000 each year. They'll never come back to us again, but we need a report every year, a financial report. Is that your motion? It is. All those in favor of this motion, please
Aye.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Aye.
All right. I think we're going did you get a full account of that?
Excuse me, I'm going to go down the list.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bryan? No. Commissioner Arnold?
Yes.
Commissioner Stodel?
No.
Commissioner Brown? Oh, she hung up. Commissioner Coffin?
Aye.
Commissioner Sinup? Commissioner Mowbray?
No.
Commissioner Truesdale?
Aye.
Commissioner Creer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mills?
Aye.
Commissioner Berkeley, or Chair Berkeley?
Aye.
Commissioner Diaz?
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carried 7-4.
Motion carries. Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Sorry about putting you all through this.
Not at all.
Just the beginning.
Wait till your first financial report. Oh, your face mirror. Okay.
When is it supposed to be? May, spring, or fall?
Oh, it's going to be same day as El Dorado Parade.
So it'll be next
Next May.
So they won't have one this fall.
No, we funded one for this
Yeah,
fall.
no, they're having it for this fall. It's the
We gave them an
following.
extra 100,000.
Okay. Agenda item number 10. 26-0174-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $36,000 by Juneteenth Nevada for the planning of the Miss Juneteenth Nevada, a year-round history education initiative honoring Las Vegas Trailblazers event, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. This impacts all wards. Welcome, and would you please state your names for the record?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you.
My name is Marquis, and I'm the director for Miss Juneteenth Nevada Scholarship Program Pageant.
I am Deborah Evans. I am the president of Juneteenth Nevada and the vice chair and director of national communications for the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Good afternoon, Commissioner and Mayor Berkeley. This afternoon, we, as part of the Miss Juneteenth Nevada Scholarship Program, as part of Juneteenth Nevada as a 501c3, and we've been developing young leaders through education, history, and cultural pride. We are here today because Las Vegas has an extraordinary history, and too much of it has not been told in public spaces. We'd like to change that with the Commissioner's support. We bring history to thousands of Las Vegas residents across our entire year of programming. Over the past 4 years, we have also used our media, television, and commercials to reach the community. Second slide. Okay. I think I advanced that, and I can advance that again. This program tells a story of Juneteenth as well as the Las Vegas Pioneer Trail history and moving into Fremont Street and the Old Vegas Mormon Fort and the West Side community and Harrison House. And the center of the story are the people who built this city alongside of its founders, women like Mother Helen Tolan, Ruby Duncan, and Dr. Saran Knight Preddy. Men like James B. McMillan and the families who live on the West Side, when no other choice was given to them, and who built beautiful, beautiful homes and history on the West Side anyway. These people are not footnotes to Las Vegas's history, they are Las Vegas history. And right now, most young people in the city and many of adults have never heard their names. Our program runs from June through May, and it's built on 3 major public events that align with our nationally recognized history observance of Juneteenth. Our first is the Scholarship Program Pageant and our community celebration of Juneteenth. This is our flagship public event, a free community celebration where our participants, which are our ambassadors, present research on Las Vegas trailblazers, and where they debut our historical display panels and such during the pageant. We have screened and video play during that time. Our second is our Empower Her, which is a Black History Month education summit in February, and a full workshop that has panels as well. These events put our Las Vegas Black history at the center of our national organization, the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation. The third is our Empower Her Women's History, which showcases our trailblazers in March for Women's History Month, and it includes a gallery of style panel exhibits. Again, when I speak of the participants, I'm speaking of our ambassadors, which are our young ladies in our Juneteenth Nevada program. It serves as a public combination and a report to the commission. Throughout the year, the participants, the ambassadors, complete 8 structured workshops in the Las Vegas history. They conduct original research and develop educational materials that remain as a public resource long after the grant would be finished. I'm going to switch our slide, so I'm staying in. Okay. Across these 3 events and our year-round workshop, we estimate reaching between 2,500 and 4,000 of our Las Vegas community members, youth, family, educators, and residents of all backgrounds. And this year, we are intentionally expanding our program to include young men alongside young women because history was made by entire communities, not just women. Including men makes our history more accurate and our program more impactful. The historical display panels, educational booklets, and digital resources we produce will outlast the grant here and will be available to schools, libraries, and community organizations for an ongoing basis. Okay. We are requesting $32,980 from the commission, well under the $50,000 threshold, to fund curriculum development, professional historical display panels, printed materials, event productions across 3 public events, digital content, and personnel at a rate of $30 per hour. We are also bringing $3,200 in matching contributions from our organizations and community partners because we believe in this program enough to invest in it ourselves. Every dollar goes directly to history, education, and public programming. There's no food, no furnishings, no ineligible expenses. We have thoroughly read the guidelines carefully. Okay, Empower Her. I'm a few slides behind. Okay, historical, lasting, okay. That's our community impact. That's what I was just talking about there. Okay. And finally here, Las Vegas turns 121 years old this year. It is an extraordinary moment to ask whose stories have been told, whose stories have we told, and whose stories haven't we told. This program answers that question with action, not intention. We are asking the Las Vegas Centennial Commission to invest $32,980 in a year-round public historical education initiative that will reach thousands of Las Vegas residents, produce lasting educational resources, and ensure that the names of the city true trailblazers are never forgotten. Mother Helen Tolan, is one of those. Ruby Duncan is another. And they all should be known to our young people here in the city. The Harrison House that deserves to be more than just a landmark. It deserves to be a lesson. So we are ready to make that happen. And we are grateful for the Commission's consideration for our grant request.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from members of the commission? Mr. Stoddall?
Just a quick question. I noticed that in your budget you have a certain amount, a few $1,000s for photography, video, and so forth. Have past events been recorded as well?
Yes, sir.
And how far? What if I were to look at last year's video? What would I see?
So last year, the programs that we're talking about, I have been working with Ms. D in Juneteenth, Nevada for the last 3 years. So each of those, the Empower Her, as well as the scholarship program pageant, they are all videoed and on our website now. So you can actually watch the programs in their entirety.
Okay, that's good. 'Cause the question is, in looking down the future, whether or not there's an opportunity to put a long range or a long form of gathering all the years together and doing something.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Beyond that, the only thing that kind of gave me a little ooge is that we're selecting a queen. And that just seemed to be a little, it's not a beauty queen, but it's selecting the queen. The celebration of what took place and what's being celebrated clearly brings tears to one's eye if you really think about what took place then. At least the law changed. Reality didn't change right away on that date. But the question of selecting a beauty queen and so forth, that kind of struck me. But then you answered my other question, is you're also bringing men into this.
Yes.
Could you go a little more into that?
Of course. And I'll pass it over to Ms. D in just a second, okay? So just so you know, the scholarship program with our young ladies, yes, it's set on a pageant platform, so we have a queen, first runner-up, second runner-up, but they all transition from delegates to ambassadors, and they all participate in the program for an entire year. So we're not competing against each other, we just have to have a person that sits in that helm position. Bringing the young men in, we're looking at now, of course, adding them, and Ms. D is gonna look at the Buffalo Soldiers program so that we can educate our men and also have our men mentors that can teach them that history of our U.S. colored troops. You know, what's interesting is during the pageant and on a pageant platform, you do invite other sashes, so to speak, to come, and we have had kings show up to the platform. So if you look back a few years, you'll actually see on the stage a panel with a man with his crown on, because men do have
I'm going to make a motion to approve, but one last question. Will we see you next year asking for additional funds?
You will see us asking for a different program for next year. I am already working on a separate program. Over the 20 years that I have had the organization, we have recognized 50 or more pioneers of the community. And I will be next year, I am looking at expanding that portion to produce some written booklets or pamphlets on the 50 people or more that we have in our history, which will then be used by the Juneteenth, Miss Juneteenth and the Junior Buffalo Soldiers programs that will be developed. Now, Miss Juneteenth is an educational program.
Yes.
It is not a beauty contest. There are no bathing suits. They must learn the 3 documents of freedom. We teach them General Order Number 3, the Emancipation Proclamation, and
the 13th Amendment.
Amendment 13, so that they learn where they come from and why they have their rights now that that their ancestors did not have. We also will take them into the 14th and 15th Amendments, where everyone became with their voting rights. But we also understand that freedom has not been free, but Juneteenth is an equal title program to the 4th of July, the Christmas. It is a federal holiday. It is an orphan program. People really do not know what Juneteenth is, and we are trying to, we're looking at the myths that were told improperly, such as we were told that General Granger rode in on a horse and went up on the balcony to declare freedom. We found out he came in on a ship. There was posted on the door of the church. There were 9,000 black soldiers there where they said that blacks did not fight for their freedom. These are the things that we are trying to bring forward, not only to the next generation of leaders, but to their parents, because their parents, the generation after myself, did not get this information, and my generation got it incorrectly. So we are doing research. We are going into the newspapers from the 19th and 18th centuries to pull up some of the stories as they came. We are investigating the stories from the ancestors that they told to their descendants. So this is where we're going. And Nevada, I came out here for a vacation. So I'm here. Nevada held on to me, and it's my city. And I know I'm still a newcomer every 20 years. I understand that. But the children we're working with, they have no knowledge of any of this. Because it wasn't taught when I went to school. It was not taught to their parents. So we now want to bring them to the future to let them understand that the descendants had to work for their freedom, and that we have contributed to every part of this country's freedom and Nevada. And right now, I'm trying to get information. Perhaps someone here can tell me. I'm looking for the names of the other two boarding houses in addition to the Harrison House, because I can't find it anywhere in records. But it said that there are 3 boarding houses.
May be able to help you with that, but
Yes,
thank you for it. I would like to make a motion to approve item 26-0174-CLC1.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, let me ask a question. According to the agenda item, there the request for 36,000, but in the conversation it was 32,982. Is that what you're asking for?
That's what we were asking for. The 3,200 additional was the money that we have looked at our partners and are saying that we will put into this.
It will be in kind. In most cases, we have operated with no funding.
Right. This is our
outside
first.
of our organization for 20 years. This is the first time we have
I
come
always
to
write
you.
a check.
Yes, you do, and we thank you for that. Thank you so much.
So you're
it's
asking for
donations and
32,000.
in-kind is what we have lived on, and we need to expand. As I said, no one knows about Juneteenth, so to
Oh, I'm
expand,
very excited about this. I just wanted to clarify the motion at 32,000, or
Is it 32 or 36?
$32,980.
So my motion is for $32,982.
that's it. And that is a second. All right, all those in favor of agenda item number 10, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you at the fashion show and crowning the queen, who will not be in a bathing suit.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
In fact, I hope to see you before then, because I do want to bring the flag down. I hope we will be able to have it up for the 30 days again this year.
Did you make an appointment with the office? The sooner
Yes.
you can come in, the better.
All right, I will
Okay.
do that.
All
Thank you so
righty.
much. Thank
Thanks
you
so
to all the
much.
commission for your help.
Agenda item 11, 26-0177-CLC1, discussion for possible action regarding approval of a grant request for $53,766.10 by the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation for the costs associated with the restoration project of the historically listed and aforementioned Harrison House, and authorizing the president to execute the grant agreement as approved by the city attorney. This is in Ward 5, but affects all of us. Welcome, and could you please state your names for the record?
My name is Rashawn Baldeo.
I'm Catherine Duncan.
I'm Robert Bazak. First, I want to say good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to all of the members of the Commission. It is both exciting and a little nerve-wracking to present in front of you all today. As was just stated, we are requesting a grant for the Harrison House. What is the Harrison House exactly? The Harrison House is one of Las Vegas's most important historic sites connected to Black entertainment, segregation, era travel, and the cultural history of the historic West Side. Preserving this building protects not just a structure, but a living piece of Las Vegas history. A lot of the times, history ends up behind glass. It ends up in places that is hard to reach, places that we see but can't really touch, breathe, or feel. Having buildings like this still stand and be restored to their former glory helps us to relearn, relive the history that they represent. Not only that, but it teaches future generations on how to build upon a legacy that's already there. So with that being said, what exactly are we trying to restore at the Harrison House? So currently, we have about, I think it's 7 windows that we'd like to fix. These windows aren't in the best of shape. We would have to take them out, like repair some of the paint, some of the glass work, and what we would do is we would fix them to be up to historical standard measurements. These are the photos of 2 others that will be fixed. We also are going to replace, I think it's about 5 windows. These windows are also going to be matched with the historical significance of the house and make sure that they stay within the era that the house was built in. These are the other 3 windows. We'll also have 3 doors that we are going to be replacing as well. There are, I think, 2 externals and 1 internal pictured here, yes. And then these are the door options that are going to be possibly used. There also is going to be, the external of the house will also be painted, as well as the chimney will be restored. So these are really the restoration things that need to take place at the house, just in a little bit of generality. There is extensive work that does need to be done in terms of the interior and exterior to get these things done. But we can go a little bit into a little bit more detail with personnel descriptions in terms of what the grant will cover in terms of paying personnel. We'll also have, these are the contracted descriptions and what they will cost. In total, the total amount of the restoration will be $120,000. Today, however, we are requesting $53,000 from the grant, from the commission, sorry. And this is the breakdown of what the grant will cover, as well as what other funding sources will have to cover to complete the entire restoration of those things. The whole house does need to be restored. It is a very important piece of Las Vegas culture that I really think holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. But why? Why are we doing this? Because we can restore buildings all day long, but they're just going to be money suckers, aren't they? They're just going to have to be restored in the next couple of years. So what is the real reason to preserve history, to preserve brick and mortar? The Harrison House is also putting on programming. These are going to be things that don't just elevate the community, but also bring tourism to Las Vegas. It's building upon the legacy of those who have already stayed at the house, such as Sammy Davis Jr. and Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, Joe Louis, Harry Belafonte, just to name a few. And what it is right now is we are doing several different things. Free community events, such as Moulin Nights, which we successfully pulled off this past March 25th. And we are doing again this May 24th. I would love if the commission would allow me. I do have some invitations that I would love to present as well. We're also going to be doing some stuff like Off the Porch, which is going to be musicians rotating, coming on, playing, and doing different types of stuff. We'd love to do free workshops for our community, teaching people not just the art of music, but also the business of it. And also, how do you survive in a city of entertainment where there's so much opportunity? How do you become a successful artist? We want to do health and wellness. We want to do networking and fundraising, vocal lessons, dance choreography. We want the Harrison House to be a space that artists can come, live, breathe, and learn. We want it to be not just a place of entertainment, but a home. Just like it was a home in the 1950s and the 1940s for performers on the Strip, we want it to again be a home for performers in Las Vegas of every color, race, and creed. So with that being said, I would love to play a video. I do not have a play button on this remote, however.
Statement for the record, Jeff, if there is a video embedded in there, Jeff will play it.
Okay.
It comes across as a PDF, and no PDFs are allowed to embed.
I sent it as a PowerPoint and a Canva link as well, if you have those in the email.
I only received the PDF.
Okay, I would have loved to show you guys this video to show you what we can do, you know. But this was March 25th. We did a very successful day in the morning. We commemorated the end of segregation in Las Vegas. And in the evening, we had a celebratory event where we had a lot of local artists, a lot of local musicians. They played off the porch. It was like, it felt very much like a professional barbecue, you know, really good music, really good sound system, but still that family, wholesome vibe of gathering in someone's like front yard and really just experiencing life in moments like that. So with that being said, I would like to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Senator Bryan.
There is absolutely no question that it's a critical part of the history of Las Vegas. And what occurred there, some of us remember from our own childhood experiences. Two questions. None, who owns the property and who would be responsible for maintaining it? I've been there, and all the construction improvements, not improvements, but actually improvements, is the sense that it needs to be done. And what you say about the windows and everything else, no question about that. So the money is not an issue for me. The need is not an issue for me. The history is clear beyond. Who owns it and how is it going to be maintained prospectively? Who can the city turn to and say, wait a minute, you committed us to do that? That's the thrust of my questions.
So Catherine Duncan is the owner of the home. The Harrison House Charity enjoys a 99-year lease on the property. And upon my demise, it will go into...
Could you get
sorry.
closer to the mic, one or the other?
Okay, so Catherine Duncan is the legal property owner.
So you're the owner?
That's me.
Yes.
Yes, and the Harrison House Charity, who Rashawn represents, it's a 501c3. They have a 99-year lease on the house. We have the house open every day for tours between 10 and 4, and all the money that comes in from the tours go to support the charity and the cultural programming. But I am responsible for the construction and the upkeep as the private property owner.
Chairman, my question follows the senator's and to some degree is you mentioned that you want artists to live there potentially and performers to live there potentially. Does anybody currently live in that house?
Yes, Catherine Duncan still enjoys it as her private residence, primary residence. You can come and knock on the door anytime and you'll catch me.
One of the things that
so do you pay so this is a private owned building, and
Yes.
this is your building?
Yes.
And you live there at your home, so there are other rooms for artists or?
So I wasn't sure if I did necessarily say live there. I don't really mean like live there permanently or have it necessarily as a boarding house. What I more meant is, you know, like how someone says that my home is Capitol Records because that's where they are able to produce music from. I would love for people to say like, oh yeah, I come from the Harrison House. Like I had a gift of singing. I went to the Harrison House. They were able to train me. They were able to give me workshops.
I took it literally when you said people.
I could add to that. Before the regulations changed, we were offering Airbnb nights in the Sammy Davis Jr. Suite, but we ran into some issues with the whole Airbnb rules. But the way the house is situated, I'm perfectly isolated from the public space because of how the house is architect.
Mm-hmm. How many square footage is the house?
So the main house is 1,700 square feet, and the cottage is 600 square feet.
And my last question is that while there is other elements of what's going on with preserving that and not cleaning it up, but I mean getting things structurally sound. You talked about landscaping, but there is no request from this commission for any landscaping.
No,
Sure
not.
So I am currently working with a local business who on March 25th did donate in-kind turf.
Great.
And we are currently working with them to see if they would like to complete the landscaping on an in-kind donation.
And my last question is, there's a Justice 40 initiative, and it's referenced here. Have you applied? Are you getting any money from the Justice 40?
Justice 40 was a part of the Opportunity Zone and Jobs Credit Act. And what it does, it allows outside investors to invest in these opportunity zones and defer their tax liabilities. So the money that I got invested to be the upfront money to get this work done came from an opportunity zone investor.
Thank you.
And
Mr.
if time,
Mills. Oh,
Mills, for the record, just a clarification for me. What was the date of segregation ending in Las Vegas?
Officially, it was March 25th, 1960, when the meeting was held. There was no official document signed. However, there was a meeting at the Moulin Rouge that was mediated by Robin's father-in-law, Hank Greenspun, where the governor, sheriff, the major hotel owners all came to a meeting at the Moulin Rouge and agreed that the practice of denying accommodations to Negroes would cease. And that was the Moulin Rouge Agreement. March 25th, 1960.
Mr. Creer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have a couple of questions for you. One, a couple of years ago, you came in front of the commission and you asked the commission to give you $25,000 to fix windows.
Yes.
That item was going sideways.
Well,
and hold on.
Okay.
I will speak, and I'd appreciate if you wouldn't interrupt me. And so it was going sideways. I remember having conversations. We fought. I remember the conversation, fought, and helped get my fellow commissioners on board to vote in favor of giving you $25,000 to fix windows. You did nothing with it.
Correct.
And if I'm correct, that it was never utilized and was never used.
Correct.
Okay, so now you come back a couple of years later, and now you want $50,000 to do windows, to do some other improvements, and so I'm unsure of how.
Okay,
Hey,
so
hold on, please let me finish. I was unsure how an entity that you come to has invested in you previously, you didn't get it done. What makes you think you're going to get it done now? And there was also discussion about if the commission should be supporting the Harrison House. You live there. It's your personal home. Are we doing this on the auspice of giving you new doors and windows for your home? Are we doing it on the auspice of really for the Harrison House and what it is meant to be? There's a fine line that is here. And I don't believe that we have funded any project that was really personal residence or personal something of somebody's. It's more have been globally for support of Las Vegas and the history of Las Vegas. And so I don't understand how you plan to use this money if you're going to use it efficiently. And if you didn't get it done the first time, what makes you think that this commission should trust in you again? I'm done.
Okay, so thank you for those two great questions. On the first $25,000 that you awarded, it is a reimbursable grant.
Which this one will be as well.
Absolutely. So on the $25,000, I didn't raise $25,000. So prudently, we did not accept your funds because we didn't have the money in the bank. But now we're requesting $53,000, and I took out a $74,000 loan, which I have in the bank. The Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation will be the fiscal agent. I'm giving them the money. They're going to put it in their bank account. They'll pay the contractor, and then I'll get reimbursed. And on the second question, I don't believe there's anything in your bylaws or your rules that says the property it can't be a private property.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you got a short-term bridge loan and you're using a commission to become your sort of long-term supporter of the project.
What we're saying is that we're asking the commission to help us preserve a property that's listed on the city, state, and federal registers of historic places because of the importance of the property and the history that it tells. Under the roof, it's where we have tours and we have humanities program, and we teach people how to deal with racism. We teach people how to understand what happened to African Americans, their history of Las Vegas. The fact that I live there as my private residence makes it even better because I am a historian and I'm able to conduct the tours, and it makes it easier for me to get to work every day.
And something with the programming as well is when the Harrison House was fully operational and up and running, the owner did live there.
Yeah.
So it's a huge selling factor as well with programming, where I've said to people, the owner actually lives there. Like, you can actually talk to her. Like, you can actually ask her questions when you come over to the Harrison House. It has actually aided in getting people a little bit more interested in what's going on there.
And I do believe this commission has funded and continues to fund private property. For example, the Huntress Theater. The Huntress is private property.
Private commercial property or private residential property?
Just private property, period.
What's the difference between private commercial property that is versus a private residential property?
Yes.
That's not the same.
No.
That's not apples to apples. No. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr.
Could I'm sorry, Al.
Do you mind if I call on, he's had his hand?
Of course not.
All right,
Please,
but
always.
you
I'm
will be
honored
next.
To yield the floor.
I was going to pass, but I think Cedric asked what I was. I remember so well when you came a couple years ago, what we committed then, and then not see anything happen. Very disappointing. And when I saw you come back, I thought, oh boy, here we go again. Yeah,
it's hard to borrow money when you live on a Social Security check. And in my neighborhood, I had to borrow very expensive money to get this project done. Very expensive money.
Before I call on Senator Bryan, you returned the $25,000.
I never took it.
You never took the 25. Okay, because you couldn't match it.
Couldn't. I had to have it up front.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Senator.
Yeah. Commissioner Creer raised a couple of questions in my mind. It's private property. You live there, and there's some type of a commitment that there is a. Explain that to me, and I want to ask our city attorney, what kind of relationship between you and the organization that is apparently a 501c3, as I understand? The city attorney, have you reviewed those documents at all?
Jeff Dorkak, city attorney, we have the actual grant agreement, but if you're talking about a contract between the homeowner, Ms. Duncan, and then the chamber, I have not seen those documents, no, but Dr. Seabrand says she's...
Well, I'm not trying to be difficult, but let us suppose hypothetically that the 50C3, whatever, 2 years from now simply folds, then in effect, this goes back to Catherine, and what assurance do we have that it will continue to be used for that function when now, hypothetically, if the 501c3 says we just can't support it, we're just not getting enough generated support, that concerns me a little bit because the default provision would be, as Commissioner Creer, we've in effect funded a private residence for an individual who's been a good part of the community and a wonderful human being. But that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, as we used to say.
Stephen, for the record, if I could add in here, I just wanted to clarify the grant that was awarded in 2020 for the $25,000. There was about $6,000 of that collected and repaid to Ms. Duncan for some of the work with the then architectural historian they were working with. But the money never was given to Ms. Duncan, so we had to terminate that grant in 2022 because the work wasn't, she wasn't able to do the work. Just to clarify that one. As far as this current grant, and I just want to make sure Ms. Duncan is aware of this, the applicant is the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation. So we are not giving Ms. Duncan money. The money has to go to the Urban Chamber Community Development corporation. They are the ones that will need to pay the contractor, and then once they show proof of payment to us, then we pay the urban chamber back. So it's not Ms. Duncan's money. There was an MOU that has been signed between Ms. Duncan and the chamber that says that they—
99-year lease?
Yeah, that as far as that they are taking over, assisting her with the restoration of the property.
Are there any, yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So just so you can educate me, Dr. Seabrand, I just heard that it's on all registries, city, state, national. So does the modifications and the changes come before the HPC, before they're executed? How do we ensure, because my concern is, how do we ensure that the TLC that the historic home receives is appropriate and maintains the integrity of the house for its time period?
Seaborn, for the record. So yes, they did come before HPC for their certificate of appropriateness application, which we did approve, and it is in the backup to show that it has the approval of the HPC. Ms. Duncan is also required to get the approval of the State Historic Preservation Office because it also has covenants on it from state money.
Okay, Mr. Stoddall.
If I understand correctly, because having served on another funding committee on the state level, the Harrison House asked for and was given a grant of $98,000, but it had to be canceled when it was determined it was a privately held building. Are we setting up a system to where private buildings that wouldn't be eligible unilaterally, so to speak, to get a grant, all they have to do is find a nonprofit to be the filter to do that, and then they can get that money? Or is there, what I'm asking for, is there some filter? These human beings live here, so that's not the issue. The question is, are we setting up some sort of a 1, 2, 3 that people now can say, well, that's the way we can get this private property all fixed up and getting a grant. We'll just go get a nonprofit to be the cycle to get that money. Do we have any precedent, or are we in fact setting a precedent?
Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney. So as you were speaking, Mr. Sola, I was asking Diane the grant guideline question, which I think is the start of what you were asking, which is, can a private owner come here and make a request? And I think everybody agrees, yes. There is, as long as it meets our definition within the Centennial Commission for the use of the money, and that was mentioned by Ms. Duncan during her presentation. So to your question, is it a loophole for us of some sort? No, because you could be private and come here anyway. In terms of your and member Brian's question, that's ultimately a policy call and consideration for the full board. When you get this nonprofit situation involved, are you concerned with it? Does it cause you heartburn and maybe you don't want to approve the money? That's totally within your purview and your policy decision.
And the other thing I've got in my head, still over the record, is the bricks and mortar policy, where there's a matching fund, and the city will match fund for a private building. So, okay, all right, thank you.
And I just want to add one other thing, that there are covenants placed on the deed, so that we have to perform the work. The covenants are already on the deed, so we don't have a choice.
Covenants from who?
The covenant, the city has covenants against the deed, the state has covenants against the deed. And, yeah, so there are covenants placed against the deed on the property.
I'm getting a very nodding of no.
So, Seaborn, for the record, the city doesn't place covenants on our properties. The reason why there's covenants on the Harrison House is because of the grant you received from the State Historic Preservation Office, and they put the covenants on there to ensure that you maintain the property with the money that they provided you, but we do not have covenants.
And if I may, before as we vote on this, we'll call for a vote. I'm very excited about this. The Harrison House has a tremendous history, all not good, in this community, where incredibly talented performers could perform on the Strip, but they couldn't stay there because of the color of their skin, which I find so incredibly abhorrent, but it's so much a part of our nation's history. The fact that we have this this building, this home that very famous people stayed in because they had no alternative when they came to Las Vegas to perform is very meaningful to me. I would like to see it fully restored and make a serious, not only attempt, but to seriously showcase this property. And the fact that you live there, that does not bother me at all. And I could see where if you're conducting tours to have the woman that actually owns the house now be able to give tours and have an understanding of the history of that home, I think is very good. So I am gonna. Oh, I can't call for the question because there is no question. Do I hear a motion?
If possible, I did find a way to play the video from my laptop. I would love to show you guys if possible.
Okay. Yes, we'd love to see it. Yeah. Right. Oh.
Somebody's rushing to your assistance.
Yes.
The other Jeff.
Oh, he gonna put an HDMI in.
Oh, perfect.
While we're doing this, I mean, we're not restoring it, this building, to the way it was in 1948 or 46 or 47, because that was a terrible building in those days. And what Mrs. Harrison attached to some of those, and you know this better than I do, her history is, terrible word, her history is colorful as well, on how she charged outrageous prices for some of those rooms. So, there's some opportunities for that story to really be fully told about the rooms, and whether it was Rochester, Eddie Anderson, or Sammy Davis Jr., they had some issues with Mrs. Harrison.
So we do plan to come back for some help so we can help curate the property, to make documentaries, tabletop books, but we thought that it would be great to just preserve the actual physical asset first, and then get it to a space where you can be climate controlled, be cool inside. And now that Rashawn is here, we're starting the cultural programming.
Do you know the names of the other two houses?
The Shaws and Cartwright.
Okay, the young lady before
And
you.
and we didn't mention that it's also a Green Book destination. It's in the Green Book. It's in the Negro Motorist Traveler's Guide.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what makes it
Green Book.
different.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have a motion?
You're good to play the video.
Mr. Mowbray, what is your motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor of the grant request for $53,766.10 by the Urban Chamber Community Development Corporation, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to show the video now?
Do you guys still have some time to show the video?
Oh, yes, let's see the video.
They can't unapprove it.
I want my money's worth, yes.
Gotta use this for this.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers, enough to cross, enough to last, till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And mark March
May 24th.
May 24th on your calendar because it's the 70th birthday of the Moulin Rouge.
Oh, heavens. Thank you so much. Agenda item number 12, a short report by the Executive Director of the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial regarding completed and current projects and announcements relative to the Commission for the Las Vegas Centennial.
I know, it's getting late. I'll be quick. Seabrant for the record. Centennial projects, as you can see, everybody can read. They're either in progress or coming up, or they will be giving their reports at the next few meetings, upcoming meetings. The one thing I do that is the most important update is our movie premiere of the 1980s this Saturday, 6 p.m. Everybody was sent an invite, and only 2 members of this commission answered that invite. We understand that it could be a no because we know that it's graduation season and there's a lot of things going on. But please send Teresa an email if you are coming or not, because we have to consider our catering, our valet parking, the theater space. So again, even if you can't come, please answer in the negative. And I'll stop berating you about that. And then the last update I have, we're our Historic Preservation Commission. We have our awards luncheon on May 27th because it is, of course, Historic Preservation Month. Everybody was invited to this awards luncheon. And do we have any? No, we have no responses from this commission.
Oh,
so
dear.
we would love, okay, Bob's on HPC. So we would love for you to be there. And again, we need the numbers so we can account accurately for how many guests we're going to have. And this is a way to actually meet many of the individuals who have received grants from this commission, from this board, or have done projects, and a great chance to talk to other people and mingle a bit. So I have nothing else unless there are questions.
No questions. Thank you.
Yay.
And would you do me a favor and get in touch with Kim in my office, make sure it's on the schedule?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Agenda item 13, discussion regarding topics for future agenda items. Comments made during this portion of the agenda by individual members shall refer solely to proposals for future agenda items. Any discussion shall be limited to whether or not such proposed items are within the purview of the commission and or whether such proposed items shall be placed on a future agenda. No discussion regarding the substance of any of the proposed topics shall occur and no action shall be taken. Do any of our members wish to speak under this agenda item?
Please. There are 2 items still up for the record. One is, when will be the next election of the Centennial Commission Board? We approved the changes, and we need to schedule the election ASAP. Secondly, based on discussion that we had with the documentary makers, I think it's important, working with the city attorney's office, that we develop a set of guidelines for the use of AI-generated material for the historic documentaries. So the answer is it has to be, there's likely other AI elements in the city, but this is particularly one with a focus on historic documentaries. Thank you.
Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney. We're always trying to get ahead of Stodall, so we have the election. I believe Diane's going to have that on for July, and she's already asked our office, and we're looking into the AI component as well.
Great. And if I can help with the AI in any way, please let me know.
Anybody else wishing to comment? Then we will go to agenda item 14, citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the commission. No subject may be acted upon by the commission unless that subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come forward, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject will be limited to 2 minutes. Seeing nobody, this meeting is adjourned.